Dear students, I welcome you in my channel. I am Sanju Hazria, Assistant Professor of English at Government College Ratangad. Today I am going to explain Alfred Lord Tennyson's The Lotus Eaters 5th and 6th stanza of part 2nd. Means I am explaining the chorus 5th and 6th stanzas. And as you know, this poem is included in BA part 2nd in the syllabus of English literature by Maharaja Ganga Singh University, Bikaner. So this is our 5th stanza, and before explaining this I am giving some introduction or some background of this poem. As you know, Ulysses and the sailors reached the island of the lotus eaters. They ate the lotus fruit. The effect of the lotus fruit was that they became drowsy and lost all desire to sail further and reach home. The sailors decided to stay there for the rest of their lives. They argued that since everything in nature is inactive and is not working, they will also not work. The sailors have been fascinated by the calm and pleasant atmosphere of the lotus land. They wish that they were let alone in the island for forever. They would enjoy in this island. And now I am explaining this stanza. How sweet it were, hearing the downward stream, with half shut eyes ever to seem, falling asleep in half dream, to dream and dream like yonder amber light, which will not leave the mira bush on the height, to hear each other's whispered speech. How sweet it were, means it is very pleasant thing if they could achieve hearing the downward stream, to hear the murmuring music of the stream. Means it is very sweet, it is very beautiful for them to hear the stream, to hear the murmuring sound of the stream when it is flowing downward. With half shut eyes, means dreamful mood, free from all cares. They are keeping their eyes half shut, ever to seem falling asleep in a half dream, and it is appearing to them that it is the state of calm and peace. So it is the situation of half dream. They are free from all cares and all tensions to dream and dream, and it is the perpetual condition of the dreaming. They are dreaming again and again, and they want to continue this situation, to dream and dream like yonder, like the distant amber light, like the distant sunlight. When the sun is setting in the west, it is the time of the evening, so the sun is setting in the west. So like the distant amber light, like the distant sunlight, which will not leave the mira bush on the height, which is not leaving the mira bush. Mira is a kind of plant, and the sunlight is not leaving that bush which is on the height. So they also want that dreamy condition does not leave them. So the light of the setting sun seems not to leave the mira bush over the top of the hill. Similarly, the sailors do not wish to be away from the state of dream and peace, to hear each other's whispered speech, and they want to hear each other's whispering speech because they are not speaking very clearly under the effect of that lotus fruit. So the conversation is in a very low voice. Okay, so they want to hear each other's whispering speech. Eating the lotus day by day, to watch the crisping ripples on the beach and tender curving lines of creamy spray, to lend our hearts and spirits wholly to the influence of mild-minded melancholy, to muse and brood and live again in memory with those old faces of our infancy, heaped over with a mound of grass, 2 handfuls of white dust set in an urn of brass. Now I am explaining it. eating the lotus day by day. So what is their dream? To eat lotus day by day. They want to eat lotus fruit per day. Okay, so feeding of lotus day by day means every day. To watch the crisping ripples on the beach, and they want to watch the curling ripples means waves on the beach, on the seashore. They want to watch every day the curling waves on the sea beach, and tender curving lines of creamy spray. And the tender means very soft. Curving lines means the rows of the foam in a curving fashion, and creamy means whiten, spray means foam. So they want to watch the curving ripples, curving waves on the sea beach, shore, and they want to watch the soft curving lines of the whitened foam. To lend our hearts and spirits wholly, they want to submit their hearts and spirits in a full manner to the influence of mild minded melancholy, to that melancholic mood. Means their mood are melancholic, calm and melancholic thoughts are over them, and they want to submit completely their hearts and spirits to that melancholic thought. To muse and brood and live means brood, to muse and brood and live, to live in imagination, again in memory, and they want to remember in their imagination with those old faces, to those old faces, to those old persons faces of our infancy, to whom they have seen in their childhood days, heaved over with a mound of grass. And now, heaved over means covered with a mound of grass grown abundantly. And now those persons are dead, and on their graves mound of grass has grown over them, means there has grown grass abundantly over the dead bodies, over the graves of the old people. two handfuls Two handfuls means in a very small quantity of white dust, means ashes. Ashes means when dead body is cremated, it is converted into ashes. So the powder like substance to which the bones must have been reduced, all that is left of those old friends is a handful of ashes set in an urn of brass. Now their ashes is deposited in, set in urn is a vessel in which the ashes of the dead were deposited, and these were used by the Greeks to preserve the remains of the dead after cremation. So cremation as well as burial was current in an ancient Greece. So their dead bodies, their ashes are set in an urn of brass. So I think you have understood this fifth stanza, and now we are heading towards the sixth stanza of the part second. Dear is the memory of our wedded lives, and dear the last embraces of our wives and their warm tears, but all hath suffered change. For surely now our household hearts are cold, our sons inherit us, our looks are strange, and we should come like ghosts to trouble joy. So now I am explaining it. As you know, Ulysses and his mariners reached an island. It was inhabited by the lotus eaters. Ulysses and his companions also ate the lotus fruit. Its effect was that they also became lethargic like the people of the lotus land. They had no desire to continue their journey. They wanted to live there for the rest of their life. Some sailors did remember their wives and children, but they did not want to return home now. Those sailors remembered their wives and children and their households, yet they were not prepared to leave the lotus land and were trying to find some pretext to drop the idea of returning home. And what now they are saying? Dear is the memory remembrance of our wedded lives, our married lives. The sailors say that it was quite pleasant for them to remember the happy days of their marriage. The and dear the last embraces of our wives, and it was also dear to them the last embraces they had from their wives and their warm tears and their tears which they had from their wives, and yet they did not think it worthwhile to return home. But all had suffered change, but now they think everything is changed now. They argue that everyone must have undergone a change, and they could not receive the same affection. So for surely now our household hearts are cold, so they will not get the same affection which they used to, and because everything is changed now. Our sons inherit us, and now they are saying the children of the sailors they think may have become the owners of the property right and heirs in full. Our looks are strange. Besides the passage of time, the passing of time must have brought a great change in their appearances also, in their looks also, and now they are looking very strange, and we should come like ghosts to trouble joy. So if now they return home, nobody could recognize them, and they would now be a mere intruder. They will be like a ghost in their happy life. They will trouble their joy. They will create new problems for them in their happy life. So now they are not in any mood to return to their home. Or else the island princess overbold have eat our substance, and the minstrel sings before them of the 10 years war in Troy, and our great deeds as half forgotten things. Is there confusion in the little isle? Let what is broken so remain. The gods are hard to reconcile. It is hard to settle order once again. There is confusion. Worse than death, trouble on trouble, pain on pain, long labor unto aged breath, sore task to hearts worn out by many wars, and eyes grown dim with gazing on the pilot stars. So now I am going to explain it. Now they are giving more and more examples, so they are giving more and more excuses, so they should not return home. Or else other reasons are also there, other reasons are also present there, so why they should not return to home. Island princess means the rulers of the nearby islands. Overbold means strong enough, strong and courageous, those who have gathered courage. Eat our substance, have captured their holdings, means now they are giving another reasons that the island princes were so courageous, so they have captured their things, their substances, their homes. And the minstrel sings, and the minstrels, the bards means the poets, narrates the heroic deeds of the sailors in the court of those princes before them of the 10 years war in Troy, who sang their songs, their song of their bravery before the 10 years war in Troy. So the bard narrates the heroic deeds of the sailors in the court of those princes, and the war over the abduction of Helen. This war of the Troy was over the abduction of Helen, the wife of the king of Sparta, lingered for a period of 10 years. And our great deeds and our heroic deeds, the heroic deeds of the sailor companions of Ulysses, as half forgotten things. Now they may be forgotten. Now they may be the things of the past. So things to which no importance is attached now, their deeds would not be sung by the court bards. Now their heroic deeds are not sung by the poets in the courts. Is there confusion in the little isle? Now the omniscient narrator is asking the question, is there any trouble or the problem in the little isle in the island to which they were attached? So things to which no importance is attached to their past heroic deeds. And now he is asking the question, he is presenting also another reason, is there any trouble and disturbance in the island to which they belonged? Let what is broken so remain. Now he is saying that what has occurred and happened, let it be as it is, because the sailors do not feel enthusiastic to fight and quench the outbreak in their own land. Means now they are not in any mood to wage again in the war, so they don't want to fight in the war again. The gods are hard to reconcile. The gods are very hard. The gods are very, very hard to appease. Means the gods can't be pleased. The Greek gods are very difficult to appease. It is very hard to settle. It is hard to settle order once again. It is also very hard to settle an order once again in their island. So it is also difficult to restore peace after such a long struggle. There is confusion worse than death. This trouble, this difficulty is more worse than the death. So there are disturbances which are worse than death even. Trouble on trouble. They have faced many troubles, and so there are so many troubles in their island. Trouble after trouble, pain after pain, long labor unto aged breath, and they have done so much hard work. Long labor, long struggle to fight enemies. They have struggled so much in fighting their enemies. Aged breath, up till old age. They have fought with their enemies till their old age. Sore task to hearts worn out by many wars. Sore task means it is very difficult task. It is very difficult work. So sore task to restore peace. It is very difficult work to restore peace. Worn out. Now their hearts are tired by many wars, and eyes grown dim with gazing on the pilot star, and their eyes have grown very dim and very tired. Their eyesight have deteriorated by gazing at the pole stars. So they have done so much hard work, and now they don't want to do any work. They want to live lazily on that island. So I have explained 5th and 6th stanza in this video, and I will explain last 2 stanzas of the part 2nd in my next video. So thanks for watching my video.